So you're looking into going solar, but you've got questions and there's a lot you need to learn, but you have no idea where to start or what you even need to know. My name is Colton and this is the Solar Impact. So I'm glad you're here because we're gonna go over 4 basic topics that you really need to think about and understand before you go respond to some random ad for a free proposal or consultation. I want you to be as prepared as possible so that when you decide to move forward, there aren't any surprises or failed expectations. So the first thing you need to think about is, why are you going solar? What motivates you to do it? The second thing we'll talk about is how it all physically works once it's on your house. The third thing that we'll go over is how will it apply to you and your home. And the fourth thing that we'll get into is what the process of getting solar will actually be like. It's really important to have a good understanding of these 4 topics early on in your process. And my entire purpose here on this channel is to make sure that there's as much important information available as possible. And here's why. I've personally spent years in the solar industry and I've talked to thousands of people during that time. But what I noticed was a common thread of misunderstanding and frustration between the people trying to buy solar and the companies that were selling it. I quickly realized that there was a massive gap in the education process, and that's what was causing this frustration. And here's how it would happen. Lead generation companies would place vague and oftentimes misleading ads on Facebook and YouTube with the intention of gathering information from interested people, then selling that info off as leads to sales companies across the country. So they'd click those ads, hoping to learn a little bit more about solar. But what would actually happen is that they were passed right to a salesman who was just trying to do his or her job and make a sale. So you'd end up with 2 people on the phone who simply weren't ready to talk to each other. And it would cause frustration on both sides. It became very clear to me that if consumers had a better education process and somewhere that they could actually learn about solar before trying to buy it, that it would make everybody's life easier. People just want to know about what they're getting into before they start talking to salespeople, and that doesn't seem like too much to ask. So here we are. I made the Solar Impact YouTube channel to help fill that gap in the education process. It's full of videos that go over all the important topics to help educate you about solar so that you can feel confident when you do end up talking to somebody about it. Go check it out after you watch this video to help answer other questions that you might have. And once you're actually ready to talk to somebody, then we will help you get in touch with a qualified installer in your area. But for now, let's get into some of those basics and start growing your foundation. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is, why do you want solar? What's motivating you? And we're going to talk about a few factors that you might want to think about if you haven't already. It's obviously better for the environment by lowering the CO2 levels in the atmosphere, which are what cause global warming. And it also uses less resources here on Earth than other energy sources do. It's going to save you money, and you're going to be getting the same exact type of power that you'd be getting from the power company, but for less. And right now with inflation on our hands, everybody's looking to where they can save. Solar provides one of the best opportunities to beat inflation and save you money right now. In fact, I have an entire video on how solar beats inflation over on the channel if you want to go check it out. When people go solar, it helps to relieve the grid, and it also helps move us collectively forward in the right direction by utilizing other energy sources, and not just depending on and depleting the few that we already have. So most people think about coal when they're thinking about what sources we get our energy from. But what often gets overlooked is hydropower, generated from dams along the rivers and reservoirs. And right now, we're having a serious drought, especially in the Southwest. It's evident by looking at some of the lakes and reservoirs in the area. Reservoirs like Lake Powell and Lake Mead, which I've enjoyed my entire life and are huge lakes, have been reduced to puddles compared to what they used to be. Glen Canyon Dam at Lake Powell and the Hoover Dam at Lake Mead were both designed as hydroelectric facilities. And the way they work is water falls down chutes called Comstocks, and they spin turbines, and those turbines spin generators which generate electricity. And they provide power to major cities in the region. Right now, the water is so low that both of these dams are nearing the point that they won't even work as a power station anymore. If these power sources go offline, it further stresses the grid and continues to drive costs up as these resources continue to dwindle. That right there is a major example of how important it is for us to be implementing other energy sources to supply the power that we need. So at this point, solar has become mainstream. You probably have neighbors and friends or family who have it, and states like California are now requiring it on all new homes and buildings. So at this point, we know solar works, and you don't have to worry about being the guinea pig anymore. As long as you educate yourself, properly design it to your needs, and structure your payments correctly, it's gonna work for you. So again, ask yourself, What do you care about? What's driving you to go solar? The next thing that you're going to want to understand is how solar and net metering work once it's on your house. It's important to at least have a brief understanding of how solar and net metering work so that you can actually know what you're talking about as you're going over proposals and designs, and also so that you'll have proper expectations as you move through the rest of the process. So here we go. Some of this is going to be a really basic explanation of how solar works, but it's really important, so follow me. When the sun's rays hit solar panels, it creates direct current, or DC power, through what's called the photovoltaic effect. And to fully explain that is going to have to be an entire video of its own that I'll do later. Your home uses alternating current, or AC power though. So the power goes through inverters and is converted to AC power so that you can use it just as normal. There isn't going to be any difference in the end result. And obviously, solar panels only work when the sun is shining on them. So properly designed systems are going to be designed with nighttime, cloudy days, and winter in mind. They should be designed so that during the most sunny times of the year, your panels are actually going to produce more power than you can actually use during that given time. So all the extra electricity that's produced travels backwards through your power meter and it's stored in the grid as a credit until you need it later. This process is known as net metering. It's really important to understand net metering and how it works in your area, because not every state or utility company meter at the same rate. Some utility companies net meter at a 1-to-1 rate, meaning that for every kilowatt hour that you put into the grid, they're going to sell it back or credit it back to you at the same rate. While some utilities net meter at a lower rate, meaning you're going to get less back than you put in. But don't worry too much. It's not the end of the road if your utility company doesn't net meter at a 1-to-1 rate. It just means that you have to design your system to account for it. Also, I'm just going to nip this in the butt right now because a lot of you are probably thinking about it. But you can't oversize your system and sell that power back to the power company for a profit. I know, it sounds like a great idea, but you got to get it out of your head. It just doesn't work that way. There are some cases, usually agricultural or commercial solar farms, where that scenario does work, but they're playing an entirely different game with a whole different set of rules. As far as residential solar goes, you're just not going to be able to do that. So it's really important to size your system properly so that you're not paying more for solar than you need to. And if you oversize it too much, you'll just be sending free electricity to everyone else and you'll never get anything back. The third topic that we're going to get into and that you need to understand is how is solar going to apply to you and your home in particular. Each home and situation is different, so you need to take all the variables into consideration when planning for solar. You're going to want to know your current usage, how much you're paying for it, and how to read your current bill. The very first thing that you need to know is how much power you're using through the entire year and what it's costing you. So if you look at your most recent bill or log onto your account online with your utility company, you'll find a section where there'll be some graphs. It'll tell you how many kilowatt hours you used each month over the last year and also what it cost you. It's important to know this so that you can properly size your system and also be able to compare what you're paying now to what you'll be paying with solar. Obviously, you're going to need to know how many panels your roof can fit in order to know how much power they can generate for you. When you actually sit down for a proposal, the designer will take your last 12 months of usage and plug it into their software. From there, they'll be able to show you exactly where and how many panels are going to be able to fit on your house, as well as how much power they're going to be able to produce for you. Next, you're going to want to understand how net metering works in your area. As I mentioned earlier, net metering doesn't work exactly the same everywhere, so you're going to want to understand how it works in your area. When you get a design or a proposal, the designer should know how this works in your area, so don't worry about it too much. They should be able to tell you. Next, you need to know if you and your home qualify or not. And these are pretty simple questions that you'll be able to answer for yourself. In order to qualify, here's what's required. Number one, you need to be the owner of the home. Easy enough. Number two, your roof needs to be in good shape. We usually want to see 5 to 7 years of life left and obviously no major damage. If your roof's in bad shape, it's not the end of the road. There's actually some pretty creative ways to get your roofs repaired or even replaced when you're going through the solar process. So if your roof is in bad shape, let us know during the consultation and we'll let you know what's available in your area. The third requirement is that you have at least a 600 credit score if you're planning on using the financing options. And 4, in order to take full advantage of the tax credits that are available, you're going to need a combined household income of at least $50,000 a year. As long as you fit within the criteria that I just laid out, you're more than likely going to qualify. It's not hard. Also, you're going to want to understand how the federal and local tax credits work, as well as the creative financing options that are available, because the tax credits and the financing options combined are what makes solar as affordable as it is. The next topic that you're going to want to understand is how the actual process of getting solar works. So the first step in the process is that you're going to want to educate yourself as well as you can. Watch all the videos on the Solar Impact YouTube channel, and also visit my site, thesolarimpact.com, where we answer other frequently asked questions. When you feel that you've learned what you need to and you're ready to talk to somebody about getting solar for your house, you can follow the links in the descriptions of all of my videos, or you can visit thesolarimpact.com. There, we can help you get a free proposal so that you can see exactly how solar is going to work for you and your home. So once you've seen your proposal and you like it and you're ready to move forward, you'll then go over the creative financing options that are available that will help you save money by switching to solar. So once you've gone over your proposal, gone over the financing options, and you've decided, yes, we're ready to do this, they're going to send a solar installer to your house for an inspection to make sure that the initial proposal is accurate and going to work the way that we said. Also, they're going to check and make sure that your house is in good shape and fit for the installation. Once your inspection's been complete and everything checks out and it's determined that it's going to work as designed, you'll then be scheduled for your install. Come installation day though, and depending on the size of your system, they'll more than likely have it completed within a day or two. Once your installation is complete, the power company in the city will perform their inspections, and once they're happy, the power company will throw on the switch. And from there, you're making your own power. It's yours, you own it, and it's never going up in price again. Okay, so after going over those 4 topics, hopefully you now have a good base of what you need to know and what to expect as you're looking into solar for yourself. If you're ready to find out if solar is a good fit for you and your home, follow the link in the description below or visit thesolarimpact.com. There, we'll be able to walk you through the process of getting a proposal and even be able to help you schedule an appointment to go over it with someone. If you're looking for more information, head on over to the Solar Impact YouTube channel, where you can check out all my videos and learn more about solar. Subscribe while you're there so that you don't miss when new videos come out. And if this video was helpful, give it a like so that other people will see it, and leave me your questions in the comments. Thanks for getting through this video with me, and I'll see you next time.